Hey, this is Sergeant Salsten from Deathhammer. See you at the Tampa Morgue.
What's up? This is Tony, and you're listening to the Tampa Morgue Season 3, Episode 104. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host deep in the guts of Tampa Bay, Florida, Mr. Ed Webb. What's up, Webb?
Mr. Anderson, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I know you're having a rough one over there. The fucking health is kicking on you and stuff. Just hoping you start feeling better pretty soon, man.
Yeah, you fix one thing and then, it's like your house. I feel like I'm a house. I fixed the door. I fixed the door in the back, and now the window just fell out. Yeah. Well, I've already dealt with. I dealt with that one, so let's not bring that one up. But yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have been getting pounded with rain too.
Yeah, it's been, dude, it's been shitty. Like I was telling you, my back is tweaked, and it's really, really, really fucking bad. Like I don't know how to explain bad, but if there's bad, just go past bad. Like draw an hour away past bad. And
I know Ed, for all of our listeners, I've known Ed for many, many years. I've seen Ed through many injuries, and he's suffering this week, man.
Yeah, I've been up at 3:30 pretty much every morning. I can't sleep. When you see me up from Lithuania, it's fucked up. Because I'll get up at 4:30 to go to the gym, so that's a little different. I haven't been to the gym since Wednesday, and you know, I've been consistent for the last year and a half, probably 2 years now, of going 5 to 6 days a week religiously, and yeah, dude, it's fucking me up mentally, but yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, and the rain, I have an inversion table to try to stretch, and I brought it out because I haven't used it in a while, and the chiropractor's like, "Dude, use it," and of course, it got soaking wet because it's raining and it doesn't stop, and it doesn't, you know, usually if the sun comes out, it'll dry something within a couple hours, but we've been getting fucking pounded.
I
Like,
saw it was flooding in St. Pete, the other day, you know, which I hate to see since I have a place in St. Petersburg, but,
well,
it's,
the drainage in Florida, you know, you would think the hurricane capital of the planet would have a better way to drain water. Like, you know, like up north, we had the big sewers that would, you know, drain shit away, and we just don't. We mound up, like, you know, for instance, down there at Harbor Island or you know, West Shore, all those roads over there, Bayshore Boulevard, they fucking flood bad. And it's like, those are multi-million-dollar homes around there. And those fucking houses are, I mean, because there's no way to drain the water fast enough. It just piles up. And yeah, it's terrible, man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
that's why when people ask me, they're like, "Do you know?" They see the hurricane footage or the flood footage, and they see like the alligators floating around. They think it's a joke, but no, that's a reality for people in Florida. It's you always got to keep an eye open, you know. Yeah, so Ed, we opened up the show with some Deathhammer, Total Metal from the Evil Power record that came out on Hell's Headbangers April 15th, 2015. And we're going to be joined by Sergeant Salsten here in about 15 minutes, man. So anybody who hasn't checked out Deathhammer, killer band from Norway. And yeah, we'll give you a bunch of Deathhammer info coming up here very soon. And Ed, again, man, you know, this week we are basically booked up for about next month and a half on the show. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And I do want to mention, obviously, John Gallagher from Raven. I know he is in the hospital. They had a delay the summer fall 2025 European tour. They're already working on rescheduling some dates, but I saw he was in the hospital. We had John on here, probably 2 years ago now. But we want to wish him the best. An upcoming guest, so everybody who's wondering, we have Eric from Goat Seaman coming on next week from Goat Seaman from Peru. Then we have Daniel Avenger coming on the 17th of next month. So anybody, you know, you could always keep up to date with us on future guests on the Instagram page. And Ed, we wanted to mention, you know, I know you were a fan of Mastodon, and you know, so I figured I would let you mention this.
I saw them, you know, on the Leviathan, probably before Leviathan came out. That was the one that kind of put them on the map. But they opened for Slayer with it might have been Crowbar. It's one of those bands. I know it was Clutch, bands like that. You know, it was High on Fire. It was, and that was the first time I saw them too, which is another band I really dig. But yeah, man, Mastodon. There was some, you know, there's like three bands, you know, besides obviously Slayer. They don't count. That's in your blood. Slayer's like, they don't count as a number. But yeah, Mastodon is one of those bands that like got me through some crazy shit. I've been following them. I mean, actually, there were times I was buying pedals morphed after Troy Sanders, trying to get that bass tone that he had because he had a killer tone. So back in the early days of Generic Christ, hell, the first record, I was playing a big muff pedal because, you know, that was one of the actual Soviet big green fucking pedals, man. I was buying shit like that because he had a killer bass tone. But yeah, man, I guess, you know, the big hubbub is they fired him about a month and a half, 2 months ago, maybe a little longer. It's been a few months. They fired him. They said he quit. He says they fired him. So now he was kind of taking jabs at him like last week. It was getting pretty bad in the news, you know, they were all talking crap about each other. And I guess he was out riding his bike and a lady in a BMW, probably not paying fucking attention, turned in front of him while he was riding and killed him dead. I mean, that's, you know, he probably died instantly because they said he was dead at the scene. But yeah, that sucks, man, because people who don't know, the Crack the Sky documentary, I watched it like intentively, and he got into a fight with the bass player from System of a Down. I guess at an award show, dude punched him. He smashed his head and was in a coma for a little bit. And when he came out, they said he was kind of fucked up, but apparently he wrote that record like, and if you listen to the record, it's really fucking intricate and good. Plus I watched that he became a guy who was out there with a chainsaw hacking up trees and making totems. Like he never did that before. Apparently that was a part of his brain that when he smashed it, it opened up a part of him he never knew he could. I mean, could you imagine that? Just you hit your head and all of a sudden you wake up and you can do something that you've never done before. That would be crazy, you know?
People
But
be
yeah,
hitting their heads all the time on purpose.
I'm ready to go smash mine right now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, so that sucks, man, because his writing, from my understanding, he wrote probably 70% of the stuff they did. So I don't know how they're gonna go forward because they have a sound. And you know how it is when you change band members, your sound changes. I mean, listen to our first 2 records and then listen to the last full length we did.
Yeah, it's
You can
hard to
tell the
avoid. It
difference
usually
between
happens
Guy
like
and
that.
Marco. You can tell the difference.
Yep.
So yeah, it sucks, man. But rest in peace, Brent. He was a nut. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And he drank a lot, but it'd be one thing if they found him dead from alcohol. You'd be like, well, oh well, you know what I mean? You did it, but getting hit by somebody because they're not fucking paying attention, and that bitch was on her fucking phone. You know it. I mean, there's no way if you're turning in front of somebody and you don't see somebody coming on a motorcycle, you're not paying attention. So that sucks, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and I was saying, I don't know if I said it on this show or I was talking to you off of the show last week, or I mean, you drive by a bus station and look at people or go to a restaurant and just look around. It's like 97% of everybody is on their phones.
I'm telling you, man, they live with Roddy Piper. That movie right there, just I don't know who made that movie, but you remember it with the glasses. You put the glasses on, and you can see obey.
The poster hanging up in one of the
That's
offices.
literally where we are. Is that phone is just nothing but a distraction. I mean, I get it. Like in the gym, I love it because I can put songs, music, play music, and do my thing and be in a rhythm. But also, for me, it ruins it because I want to use a machine and there's some cock burglar sitting there on his fucking phone for 20 minutes scrolling through shit that he could be doing at home.
Wow.
I just don't understand it. Why do you go to the gym to sit there and look at your phone? I mean, you know what I mean?
I think what drives me crazy is when I go to shows. You go to a show and there's like 50 phones up in the air in front of you, like, especially, the people like I said, the people in front of you at the show, they
Can't
all
see
got their
nothing.
phones up in the air.
Well, I'll
Yeah,
tell
it
you,
sucks.
Ghost, as much as I thought that was pretty, I was like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? Man, after hearing how they did it and then how people actually were enjoying the show because there was no distractions, maybe that's
smart.
what bands need to do, man.
Well, it'll take, we're eventually just gonna be no jobs left because it's gonna be robots working them, and then fucking, it's the times, man. Ed, let's do what we've been doing the last couple weeks. Let's run the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal promo. We'll do the releases, the musicians who passed away. Me and you will talk about shows, and then we'll get Sergeant Salsten on here from Deathhammer.
Let's do it. It's gonna be a good interview. I have a feeling.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man. I'm looking forward to this. Great band, I mean, fucking killer albums, Phantom Nights, Onward to the Pits, Chain to Hell, just a bunch of great releases. So we're gonna talk to him about the history of the band. But first, we're gonna play the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal's promo with Dave Allison, and we'll be back after that.
What's up, Tampa Morgue listeners? This is Death Metal Dave from the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal. And I'd like to ask you to join us on February the 7th at Magnanimous Brewery, Seminole Heights, where we're going to have a killer display of Florida metal history. Backdrops, guitars, drums, clothing, you name it, we're going to have it. And it's pretty freaking cool, man. Come out and support the metal and drink our Tampa Bay Museum of Metal beer. And always listen to Tampa Morgue with Tony and Ed. It's just Death Metal Dave. In your face.
And that was Dave Allison, a.k.a. Death Metal Dave. For more information on the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal, you can visit www.tampabaymuseumofmetal.com. There you will find a lot of Tampa Bay metal history. Coverage dates back to 1982 and goes to the current day. And as always, I want to say before I do the next promo I'm about to do, all of our regular Morgue listeners, thanks for sitting through this segment. If you're new to the Tampa Morgue podcast, thank you for checking out the show. This is episode 104. Last week, we had the one and only Inferno from Disaster, Moon Towers, Doom Cold Commando on, talking about 37 years of disaster history. We have a whole bunch of back episodes you can go listen to. We have interviews with Nige Rocket of Onslaught, Vincent Crowley from the Vincent Crowley Band, and Asheron. Get well, Vincent. I know you just had a surgery this week. Ritual Butcher from Finland's Arc Goat. Snowy Shaw, who played with King Diamond, Merciful Fate, Notre Dame. Speaking of kings, we had Mr. King Fally from Deceased on October 31. A couple weeks ago, we had Terry Butler on here for a few hours, giving us a whole lot of history. Terry played obviously with Death, Obituary, he's with Now, he played with Massacre, plays with Left to Die, Inhuman Condition. We had Lord Sabathon from Enthroned, Slaughter Messiah, Morbid Death on about probably a month ago. Crusher from Finland's Morgul. Speaking of Finland, we had Harry Quokinen from Hooded Menace, Devil's Gateway, Hail Conjurer. We had Jarno from Finland's Urn on. We had Louisma from Hemorrhage Depopulation Department was on here. We had Rob of Lucifericon. He also played with Destroyer 666 on. Jeff Manis from Venom. He was on here for about 5 hours. So it's a real in-depth interview. Pat from Hellwitch, Heimlin from Norway, Knife from Norway was on here. We had Blaine Cook from The Accused, now The Accused AD, Dave Austin from Nasty Savage. We've had God Dethroned on here, Henry. We had Morbid Saint on here, Kyle Thomas from X-Hoarder, Dawn of the Dead from Nunslaughter, Bobby Gustafson from Overkill, which is a really cool episode. We even talk about the old Headbanger Ball days and behind the scenes of that, what was going on. So I thought that was a really cool episode. We've also had David Howard Thornton on, who played Art the Clown. We had Columbia's Witch Trap on here, which to me is like one of my favorite bands. If you haven't checked them out yet, it doesn't matter what you check out. You could check out the 2002 records. 6 is No Anesthesia. The latest one, Hungry as a Beast from 2024. Great band, man. We had Carlos and Hugo on here. Gene from Perdition Temple, Angel Corpse. The list goes on. So again, we appreciate all of our listeners. You can always keep up to date with us on the Instagram page. That's probably the most updated place to find out information for upcoming episodes of the Tampa Morgue. You can contact us through there. You can also contact us through the tampamorgue@gmail.com. We'll respond to you on there. I also want to send a big thanks out to one of our listeners, Jan from Germany. He sent me a handful of releases. I really appreciate that. Jan is a bassist. Has also played some drums and performed some vocals in some bands. Jan was in Miscarriage out of Germany, which is a death thrash metal band. They put out a demo in 94 titled Peace, Justice, Murder that had 5 tracks on it. Also put out a live demo in 95. He's also a member of the power metal band From the Ashes out of Germany. Also the speed thrash metal band called Blizzard. So I wanted to say thanks for the music and thanks for listening to the Tampa Morgue, man. We definitely cannot thank you enough. So now I'm going to get to the releases. Actually, what I'll do first is I'll do the musicians who passed away. We always like to honor the musicians who've passed away. So I'm going to mention that. And then we're going to get to the releases. And then Ed will do some shows. Ralph Eddie Ziegler, German vocalist and guitar player, played with Flashback, Spoonful of Life. Noor Osman bin Musa, a 53-year-old Malaysian bassist, played with Bacteria in a band called Silent Death. Hector Guerrero, 57 years old, a Mexican guitar player. He played for the Mexican rock band La Crypta. Christian Mindadal Peterson, Danish drummer, played with Eden Beast, Insignia, 13 Devils, and Sugarcane. Vokoth, he was a Mexican drummer in a black metal. He was a Mexican drummer in a black metal band called Invoke. He passed away at the age of 34. So we always like to pay our respects to the fallen. And now I'm going to go through the releases, and then we will get to some shows, and then we'll get to our guest tonight. Okay, so for releases, I pulled some. Like I said, we know we do this weekly, so we kind of separate them a little bit. Halloween, Giants and Monsters is the name of this. This is their 17th studio record, I believe. It's coming out on Reigning Phoenix Music, formed in 1983. The first release was a demo in 84. This is a follow-up to the 2001 self-titled record. It has 3 members from the 83 lineup still, actually. Bassist Marcus, guitar player Michael, and the second guitarist Kai. And the vocalist, Michael Kiske. This comes out on Reigning Phoenix Music, August 29th. Hexrot, progressive death metal band from Massachusetts. Formless Rune of Oblivion is the name of the record. Transcending Obscurity Records is where it's coming out of India. Hexrot formed in 2022. First release was an EP in 2022. This one has 7 tracks, and this one will be out August 29th on Transcending Obscurity. Imperishable, death metal band from South Carolina. Revelation Impurity is the name of this. Everlasting Spew Records out of Italy is where it's coming out on. Only their second release. The first was a 3-song demo. Features members past and present of Cadaver Creator, Nile, and Hate Eternal, Malevolent Creation, Serpent's Rise, and a band that I'm part of, Doomsala. Because on drums of this band, there's Derek Roddy. Derek Roddy is a beast. Revelation Impurity is available August 29th. Prescription, a Finnish black death metal band. Desolate Divine is the name of this. Coming out on Dark Descent Records out of Colorado. Band formed in 2017. First release was a demo in 2017. The band's debut, titled Conduit, came out in 2020. They also put out a single in 2020 and 2023. A split with Sulphurous out of Denmark in 2023. This is their first release since that split. Features members past and present of Beastile Torture, Brutal Torment, Cryptborn, Blood Greed, and Dethroned. Desolate Divine is out August 29th. Crimson Butchery, brutal death metal band from Ireland. Stalker is the name of this one, coming out on Iron Fortress Records out of Kansas City, Missouri. Crimson Butchery formed in 2021. First release was Repulsive Exhibition, also the band's debut full-length that was. Stalker will be the band's third studio album. It'll be available August 29th on Iron Fortress. Void out of Louisiana. Forbidden Moral is this one. It's coming out on Shadow Kingdom Records out of Ohio. Void formed in 2019, put out a few singles in 2021 and 2022. First full length came out in 2023, and that was titled Horrors of Reality. Forbidden Morals comes out on August 31st. And last, In Shame out of Oakland, California, crust sludge doom metal band. Name of this one is Looming. It's coming out on Transylvania Recordings out of Oakland. In Shame formed in 2023. First release was a 3-song demo in 2024. Song titles on that were 1, 2, and 3. No. This will be the band's first full length, has 5 tracks, and no, the songs are not titled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They actually have names. Band features 2 former members of Oakland's Tree Herder, which is like a stoner band. Looming is out August 31st, and that's what I have for releases. Okay, Mr. Webb, let's get to the shows. I only have a few, I'll be honest, man. I didn't see much, so I'm going to announce what I have. I know you have something too over there, and we'll do that, and we'll get our guest on, and then we'll come back at the end of the show like we always do and bullshit for a few minutes. So, I mean, the only shows I really have is, I'm going to mention, so I could mention some future shows, which I will. So I'll start with that, just a couple that I saw that I wasn't even aware of that I mentioned to you today when we were talking. We have, Steve Souza is playing at the Brass Mug September 26th, I saw. I know you were actually, when they put Dukes back in, you were kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I was, because if you remember, we played with them, and that was a fucking, I think there's only been 2 shows at the Mug that I felt like I was sitting in my 150-degree sauna. That was one of them. Exodus.
Oh, yeah,
we played with Exodus, dude. That was so fucking, hot. We were on stage, and I thought we were gonna die, dude. Like, there was no water. We could not get it. I remember after the second song, Steve was soaked. Like, he was soaking wet. His vest was like just pissing water.
That might have been the hottest show I've ever played. I'm not sure, but
that one, and so. I think, and I don't know if it was Generic Christ or DTR, but we played with Vader at the Mug, and that fucking show was a close second to Exodus. It was so fucking hot, man. And I just, because what it is they sell out. Those shows will sell out, and everybody's huddled in, and it's like a fucking, just like being in a sauna. It was cooking, man. I remember we were standing in the back for Exodus, and it was still like,
oh yeah.
So I remember Rick was up there in his little sound booth, and he was just like giving us the fucking what the fuck, man, because it was so hot. He was wiping his head off. It was brutal. But yeah, it'll be cool to see him, man. And I'm not trying to shit on Rob Dukes, but I'm sorry, man. He, besides Bailoff, which can't come back, unfortunately, there's no coming back for Paul Bailoff. Souza was Exodus, period. I mean, when he came back after the first time with Dukes, those fucking records crushed. Like you heard his, I mean, he's got that distinct voice, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It'd be cool to see.
Well, he'll be available to see at the Brass. He'll be at the Brass Mug on September 26th. And then I also saw October 11th was Kings of Thrash, which is Dave Ellefson and Jeff Young. Obviously, Jeff Young from the So Far So Good album, Megadeth. So I saw that is going to be October 11th. And then what I'll do, Ed, is I'll mention the Tampa Bay Death Fest that's coming up. And then we'll mention one more show, and then we'll get to the guest. Tampa Bay Death Fest. At the Brass Mug, which is $25 day of the show, $20 pre, doors at 3:30, shows at 4:30. It's a 2-day event. September 5th and September 6th. So 2 different days. That's 1450 Skipper Road, Tampa, Florida, the Brass Mug. And then some of the bands playing that show is Diabolic's playing, Corrupted Saint, let me see who else here. A Burning Rose, Precipice, Grave Huffer, MRSA, Pontifex, Burned at the Stake. There's a shitload of bands playing, and that'll be on the 5th and 6th of September. And Ed also will mention United Forces celebrating 40 years of SOD is also at the Brass Mug on September 12th. And I think that's all I have, unless you have anything else for shows.
Yep, I have 2. We have our pals there in Gruesome, who we've played with before, are doing their Silent Echoes run, I guess, the East Coast run. They're playing the Conduit on August 30th, and they're playing the Orpheum on August 31st. And the other show, of course, I've mentioned it before, is the Dark Angel, Sacred Reich, Hyrax, and Void. They are playing the Orpheum on September 16th. And there's a good chance there's a great chance I'm going to be at that one for sure. I'm a Sacred Reich fan, so I'm pretty sure that I will be there.
Yeah, September. There's a lot of gigs coming through, which we'll be announcing.
And now it's going to be full swing as winter comes, because nobody wants to tour in the summer because it fucking sucks. It's hot.
Yeah, it's already starting to get cold here, actually. Our winter feels like it started about 4 days ago.
I wish.
Not you guys. Yeah, it's like, what is it, 112 already?
Wish I would. How much? I'll break into my secret stash. How much it's going to cost, man? Tell me how much, and I'll pay. Because
plane ticket's about, I think, 400 round trip right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I would do it. I would do it in a second.
Yeah. Well, Ed, unless you got anything else, I say we get Sergeant Salsten on here from Deathhammer.
Let's do it, man. Let's have a party.
I know he's heading out to a fest right after this interview. So let's play some Deathhammer. Let's play Black Speed Inferno from the Chain to Hell record that came out October 5th, 2018 on Hell's Headbangers. And we'll be back with Sergeant Salsten from Deathhammer after this track.
Running to the mist with a nothing of blood, floating unbelievers and scum of God. The forces with the last one like it all, suffering down the sacred slur. Black Speed Inferno, force me take over and burn it out. Anything you trigger on the evil's command. Stand up and bring the furious mention. The army of God for you, hatred and murder. Waiting for the black light. Back on one side shred, without the sea but the fuel. Ripping through my arms, poison is in my veins. My soul is burning for nothing. Soldiers of hell, the fire in your city is Black Speed Inferno. crush your enemies. Watch them die before your gleaming eyes. In the lamentations of the women, going round the sniffers fingers of death.
That's Deathhammer with Black Speed Inferno from the Chain to Hell record that came out on Hell's Headbangers in 2018. And we are joined by Sergeant Salsten. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I just got up late in the afternoon. Was out for a long time until the morning, but now feel good. On the going to a festival today. It's the weekend. Yeah, so raging.
What festival are you hitting today?
It's a Hellbottom metal fest, or Hellbottom metal or something. Hellbottom is like it's a pun on Kolbotn, which is like the place right outside Oslo where there's a few cool bands and got some history there. But yeah, it's a small place, but they've had a lot of cool big bands like Destruction and Sodom and stuff like that playing there. This year there's Inferno, the old thrash band from Norway, playing with the original singer for just one show, like a one-off thing. So that's going to be fucking sick, I reckon.
It's Enslaved playing there too, right? And Destroyer 666 today?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just a few cool bands.
Aberration, which is from your neck of the woods, which is another killer band.
Yeah, they're my friends. They're really fucking awesome, man.
Oh, man. What was actually the first festival you attended?
There must have been Inferno Festival in 2003. I was there when I was like 14, because like my friend's dad agreed to take me and him, even if we weren't old enough. So then we got like a special pass or whatever. I remember seeing Immortal there. That was fucking cool. And a couple other bands. That was
man. Cool. Well, you're born in Norway.
1988.
What is first music memory? Like, not even, obviously not metal even. Like, what is the first memory you have of hearing music as a kid that caught your attention where you're like, this is something that I want to kind of dig into?
The very first, I think when I was in kindergarten, like when I was 5, I think I was, or 4, or maybe something, was Elvis and Michael Jackson, like the basic shit, you know. I like that stuff when I was very young. But then when I got a little bit older, maybe like 9 or something, was getting into the like skate punk in the 90s, like NoFX and those bands. That's when it started for me getting into like distorted guitars and like punky stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I had seen that about you. You were into like what? NoFX, Offspring. So I think Offspring was like a big influence for you when you were a kid too. Were you into like the Descendants and the Dwarves and stuff like that also?
Yeah, I'm totally into that. Yeah, of course. But I hadn't heard of those bands when I was like 9. I just saw the bands that were on TV, you know. So
Yeah, like so what the first video that really caught your attention was All I Want from The Offspring?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw it on like youth TV, whatever thing when I was a kid in '97 when it came out, and I thought like, wow, this is fucking sick. Like it was fast and energetic. I remember instantly going like, oh yeah, this is my kind of shit. And then so then I was into that skate punk stuff for a couple of years, but then skipped kind of right to black metal after that.
Do you remember the actual first record? Like, you know, maybe it was Thriller, who knows? But do you remember the first record that you actually owned as a kid personally?
The first one I actually owned. I had like heaps of tapes in the beginning before I got like vinyl records or CDs, but then I got some CDs and but what was the first one? It's kind of hard to tell. I'd probably I think when I was very, very young, my grandma gave me some money to buy a CD, and I bought a Michael Jackson CD. But this is so long time ago, so I don't really remember. But when I used to go like to the slot machines, I had like a little bit of like maybe recycled some bottles or something to get like a little bit of money, and then I went to like the one-armed bandits and the town because there was like one. I knew which one I was good at and stuff, and then I won enough money that I stopped playing, and then I went and bought like a CD single. So that's how I used to do it because I didn't have money, but I was kind of good at the machines.
How was your like record store selection? Did you guys have a decent selection of stores to go to in your area?
There was one good store, which was like in the cellar of a sports store, so it was really hidden place, but that was really good place. But they all just died out one after another, really, because they can't make money like selling CDs in a small town anymore.
You guys had some radio shows there too, right? Ambolt, I think it was called.
Oh
on
yeah,
Sundays from 10 to 12
fuck
PM.
yeah. I was totally into that. That was a big influence on me. I heard like lots of bands that got introduced to me there, like Dark Throne, Burzum, and Destruction, and heaps of cool bands I heard there for the first time when I was like very young.
What was the first concert you actually attended as a kid?
That was Sputnik. It's like a country legend in Norway. He still plays. He's really, really, really old now. But I saw that Sputnik concert when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old up in the north when I lived there. And then I remember it made a huge impression on me because the guitarist had like his underwear on his head. And I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. So when I went to like daycare the next day, I just like took my clothes off, put my underwear on my head, and just ran around crazy.
Great. You also mentioned too that you like found black metal like around 13, right?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Was it like so metal like locally? What was the the kids in school? Was there like a metal following at that age? When I was in high school, there was like a pack of all the metalhead kids. Did you have that in your school too?
Yeah, there was like that when I was in I guess in America you call it middle school, maybe like when from it's not the same system maybe, but from your like 13, 15, like this age. Then there was like lots of metalheads actually, but then there was like even groups within the metalheads because we didn't like really hang out all of them because like we didn't like the technical death metal guys and shit like that. So there was like and then there's guys listening to like necro black metal shit in one corner and like the technical guys in the other corner. It's like really, really fucking juvenile but kind of cool.
And and also you first. So I know obviously you play guitar, bass, but the first instrument you ever had was a drum kit, but you just didn't. It wasn't your thing.
That's right. Yeah, I got a drum kit. Because when I was in my first band with a guy up my street, when we were, I think that was when we were still in primary school. So we were probably 11 or something like that. Then we had some sort of. We were trying to be a punk band, I guess, but we couldn't play. So it was like, if the studios were shit or something, I don't know. I was a really bad band, but yeah, I played drums, but I didn't know how to play drums, so I was kind of doing it in a tribal way because I had no idea about like the bass drum and the snare doing their main beats and shit. So I was mostly just like going wild on the toms, like dum dum. So it sounded like, I don't know, rotten fucking Sepultura or something. I don't know. It was just like, didn't make sense. So I quit doing that because I just sucked at it, I guess, at that time at least. And then, I picked up the guitar a couple of years later.
Yeah. What age did you first pick up a guitar?
Must have been maybe 13. Something like that. Yeah.
And the first band you're in is a band called Warfield. And
Yeah.
that was 2004 that's formed?
Yeah, that's right.
You're about, what, 16 at that time period?
Yeah, I would be 15. No, 16 maybe, yeah, turning 16, yeah.
And what was it? So it's you and a drummer named, I'm going to probably may fuck up some of these names, but Gnutz and Casamator?
Yeah. That was just like, just because it was going to be Massacrator, and then we thought it sounded so generic, and then he was like, "What about Casamator?" and we thought that was cooler. Yeah, and Gnus is just short for Magnus.
And you guys did what? A 3-song demo, Midnight Thrash Ritual. You guys did like 69 copies of that. Where did you guys record that?
That was just a tape player, like a standard normal portable tape player with a built-in. Oh no, it wasn't actually. I was mixing it up. No, it was with like two microphones, I think, that we connected to. Also just a basic tape player, but we did have 2 microphones or something that we set up. But it was very basic, basically like a rehearsal tape.
And did you do shows with them?
Yeah, we did one show, like March 2006, and then after that we just faded away because I was already doing Deathhammer, because I was a little bit frustrated with that band because every time we went to rehearsal, nobody learned a new song or whatever. We're just doing the same shit for a year, and like people not being inspired, or people they were like not so much into it as me, I guess. And then when I started with playing with Deathhammer with Sadomancer, like everything went like we had one rehearsal and then we went to record a demo and shit. So everything was just pow. We just had the connection.
You mentioned Sadomancer. Well, he was 15 when you met him, and you actually first met him at a Mayhem show, but you actually had spoken to him earlier because you guys had the same interest in like Exodus.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, I met him early 2005, like February or January at the Mayhem show, and then we met another couple of times, or at least one more time at like a punk show in Oslo, and then we went to my town and did some rehearsing, and then we just clicked like that. It sounded really good from the get-go. So then I went down to the south where he's from and recorded the first demo like at the end of the year. But we had barely rehearsed when we recorded those demos. Like,
Well,
so
you
it
guys
was
also
just instinctive kind of thing, since we just knew how it should be. So we had like a good chemistry, so we didn't really need to rehearse.
You guys actually started what as a punk band at first. I saw a name, Hevnerv.
Yeah, Hevnarna. It means like the Avengers, just in Norwegian. That was like, yeah, parallel to Deathhammer, we had that band. And then that just faded out after a while. But we had lots of songs in Norwegian and shit, but we never released a demo or anything. But there's a few recordings, but I think they mostly faded away. I think there's something up on the internet still if you can search well enough. But yeah, that was just a decent punk band. It's like, yeah, we were kind of like trying to go against the stream, like SOD sort of lyrics in the region, like hating on vegetarians and like going like this kind of that was the way at the time, because I don't know, angry teens. Piece of something.
And what is the first Deathhammer song that you guys actually put together?
That was Zombie Cult. That was in November, the month before the first demo. That was our first rehearsal. I just like had these couple of riffs and then I showed them to Sadomancer and it worked straight away. And that's the one that we have. It's even on Forever Being Fast re-release, I think, and we had it on the Wrath of the Antichrist demo as a bonus. It's a recording of this first rehearsal, so this is actually like the first time we ever played together is actually manifested in that that's the recording of that.
Well, I know you were into like the Burzum, the Dark Thrones and stuff, but these guys start getting into like what, Sabbat, Celtic Frost. You guys both had the same desire to kind of make a violent thrash metal, like because you guys weren't too satisfied with what was going on at that time.
Yeah, that's right. When we were just like also just like restless. That's still what drives me a lot. Is this like restless unease kind of. Yeah, just take inspiration from that, but make it into something constructive, I guess. But yeah, we were. There weren't that many bands around at the time doing this kind of shit. There was just like, it was a handful of bands, like maybe it was Toxic Holocaust and Sauron from Michigan and maybe a couple of bands from Chile or something, but like not like now, and there's much more bands, but not many bands at the time doing that kind of thing. Oh, well, it was Witch Trap. So, the few bands that were doing it were really into it, like doing this kind of like proper old school shit. But we wanted to do
we had
that.
Witch Trap on here, man. They're a killer band.
Yeah, I love that. Those guys are fucking great.
What would you say is the worst period of thrash in your opinion? Like the worst years of thrash?
Maybe the entire 90s, I suppose. Like maybe 91 to if it's gonna be a decade, I don't know. There's a couple of cool records from 1990, and then it goes really shit. So I think like the entire 90s from 91 and out is the worst. Because it's really hard to like. You can hardly even think of a good thrash record from the 90s. But when there is one, then it's like extra cool. Like, wow, these guys managed to make a cool thrash record in the 90s. Then it's like extra, yeah, good on you. Yeah. But
and for Deathhammer too, the first couple of Bathory records was a big thing for you guys.
Oh, for sure, that's one of the biggest influences. Totally, to first couple of two records, and also, I mean, the third and fourth record as well, but especially the first couple of records, it's huge influence.
And also 2005, in Norway, is it true? Like a lot of the bands were breaking up and because thrash had kind of faded out, and you guys were kind of disgusted with that also.
Yeah, there wasn't anyone really at the time. Then when Necromancian came along, like not long after us, and then we became reconnected with them a lot because they were like about the same thing that we were doing. But yeah, there was not much, but there was Ghoul Cult a few years before us in Norway, which was a really good band, but one of those guys went out, unfortunately. But then the other guy carried the torch, and in the end, Sadomaster, we joined the band a few years later. It was an honor because that's a really underrated fucking sick thrash band, which if people haven't heard it, Ghoul Cult, that's fucking great.
Which you guys, who came up with the name Deathhammer, and Sadomancer did the logo for you guys?
Yeah, he did all the drawings and logos, all that shit in the early days. Yeah, I still have all the original demo covers and shit, and it's fun because on the other side there's like math homework and shit. So I did all of it in school, and it's just kind of charming, I suppose. But we still do the drawings ourselves, not necessarily like everything. We're not the main cover and shit, but on the inside, I guess people can't see the shit, but on the inside of the new record, there's like hand drawn shit all over the show, which we did ourselves. Did some shit every period, but didn't. It's cool. Evil.
Did you guys know too when you guys first started, like, hey, we're going to keep this as a duo?
Yeah, we kind of just felt we had a really good chemistry, and everything just went boom, boom. We never felt the need to have anyone else, and it was kind of nice to just have this thing going because we were like totally on the same page. So everything just like the kept going by itself. So I think if we were adding more people, it would just be an hindrance to like this unspeakable surge of power.
And the first release was the Barbaric Onslaught demo, which was recorded January of 2006. You guys put that on, I think it was 60 cassette tapes. And that was recorded the first weekend you guys were jamming?
Yeah, pretty much. We had one rehearsal in November that year when he came to visit my place, and then we just rehearsed for a couple of hours there. That was the first time we ever played together, and we were like, wow, this is sick. So in December, I went down to his place, and then we just set up to record the demo. So we pretty much just had one rehearsal before we had that demo. So everything just like made itself, pretty much.
And there was more songs too, right? But you guys, I think the tape got erased by mistake, some of the tracks you guys were jamming.
Yeah, you did your homework, that's right. We did, I think we recorded 10 songs or something, like heaps more songs. And then in the middle of the night when we'd been recording all weekend, the one guy that was helping us out with the recordings, some solo shit, like our friend, he accidentally like stepped on that little orange button that's on the the power plugs, yeah, when you and then when you flick that button, like all the electricity goes. And we were young and inexperienced, so we hadn't been saving our shit. We had like a digital recorder, we hadn't been like saving it through the process, so like it all just like everything got erased except for those songs. That's everything actually got erased, and then recorded those songs in the morning before I had to take my bus home. So there was just like, I remember actually like singing like Bestial Slaughter and then literally just running out of the little cabin to the bus. So it was just like,
I'm actually going to play Bestial Slaughter here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, sick.
You guys also used an additional guitar player on that, Lund from the speed metal band Ghoul Cult. I think he was the bass player with them, though. He played on a couple of the tracks also?
Yeah, he was just a live member of Ghoul Cult. Like we were a few years later. He was not like in the original band, but yeah, he was Sadomancer's best friend back in the day when we were teens. So he was not really in Ghoul Cult, but he was a live member there and live member with Deathhammer in the very first shows, the early days. Don't really see him anymore, but he's a cool guy, old friend.
And who's doing the art on those demos? And actually, the mascot too. The name is Tormentor is actually his name.
Yeah, I always refer to him as that, like Tor, and then Mentor is his last name, I guess. And yeah, that's Kato. No, I mean Sadomancer that makes those. Like I said, I have those original ones. You can see all his schoolwork on the other side. It's just like some drawings from class, I guess, when he was bored. But I think it looks like a evil kid.
Yep. I'm gonna play Bestial Slaughter now from the Barbaric Onslaught demo from 2006, and we'll be back with Sergeant Salsten after this track from Deathhammer. This is Bestial Slaughter.
Just gonna go grab a beer.
Killing of sick dog, God is dead, and I must be saved. Raping of the killing beast, I must become a blackness. So never rest, feel the sweetness of death. Bestial slaughter, bestial slaughter. I thought I would kill all. See me, you better run. Only bloody cast of an undone. Suffer for the breath of eyes. Sinister of customize. Cover my losing eyes. This is how we take us back.
And that was Deathhammer with Bestial Slaughter. 2006, Deathhammer also puts out a second cassette demo. I think it's like 166 copies, maybe 5 tracks, released on Final Punishment Records out of the Netherlands, called Savage Poser Hunt. How does the relationship start with Final Punishment?
That was just because at the time I was getting a few underground tapes from underground bands around in Europe. I mean, Final Punishment was like a really good super underground distributor label for young, old school bands at the time. So I was really big supporter of Final Punishment. And at the time I was like, oh, what if we could be on Final Punishment? That would be so cool. Even if it was really just like a tape label doing like really small releases. But I was a really big fan of that label. So I contacted them to see if they could distribute the demo tape, because at the time I had a hard time finding cheap old tapes in the beginning, so it was really expensive, and also there's time consuming. But those numbers that you mentioned about the tapes, they're not really accurate. But it was just what I wrote, because when we released the first demo, we had no idea that people would be into it. We were just going to give it to our friends or whatever. So then we just bought some empty tapes at the store, which was a lot of money for us at the time. And we figured out we'll just make 60 tapes, because that'll be pricey enough, and we probably won't need any more than that, because like we didn't know that we didn't have any fans at the time, so we didn't know that we'd sell any more than 60. But then it got popular. People were getting into it, so then I just started making heaps more tapes. So then I probably made hundreds of those tapes. So the people pushing to sell it for expensive price because it's like super rare or whatever, that's not really accurate.
And that cover, that artwork on there, that actually got you guys. So that was the shirt on the victim of that shirt getting his head ripped off. That was a local band that you from your guys' area on the T-shirt,
Yeah.
which actually caused a fight for you guys.
Yeah. That's on the first one. I think it's just a standard poster. I think he's got a Cradle of Filth shirt, and then but it was on the second one. Kato made Southern Monster made a shirt on the band with a local thrash band, which we thought was really fucking shit poser band. They just released a demo, and they were around the time playing some shows, but they were like really fucking fake, lame, rich kids band. And then so when we made that demo with their logo on it, of course there was a bit of trouble then. So when I went to see I went to one of their shows because I wanted to see the other band. It was when they played with the Disaster, actually. They were opening up for Disaster and playing with Lobotomized, and I wanted to see those other bands. And then I met the singer outside, and suddenly there was a brawl, and I was with a friend, and he was on my side, and the other guy was with like several other people, and then there was like a huge fight, and then it became there was like a court and everything like with this shit, but it was no problem.
And I know you guys about 2006. I think it's April 2006. You guys are doing gigs and stuff. When is the first official show for the band? And what's your first official live lineup? 'Cause I know you guys have used some live guys in there.
Yeah, our first official live lineup, that was my friend Kasamarator, which we talked about from my old band Warfield, playing on guitar, and Lund, which was like Sadomaster's friend from the south, playing the other guitar, and me on the bass and vocals, and Sadomaster on drums. That was it.
And when was the actual first gig?
Yeah, that was at like Inferno festival pre-party thing in Oslo, and so it was in Easter 2006. So we played with I think it was Lobotomized and Dwarfment, Slagsmall. Yeah, it was like some cool bands. That was a good night. And then there was also some cool people there. We met like the guys from Old were there from Germany, which was fun. We met Fenris on Dark Throne there, and then we got a lot of support from him.
Didn't he pick up your first demo that night?
Yeah, so we got like a lot of good support from him from ever since the first show, really. So he was a good supporter.
In 2007, you guys put out the Wrath of the Antichrist demo, 3 songs, recorded New Year's Eve of 2006.
Yeah, that's true. Like going into 2007.
That also has that song Zombie Cult you talked about, which was actually recorded at the rehearsal in 2005.
Yeah, that's right.
And then 2008, you put out Forever Ripping Fast on Witch's Brew out of Germany. And it's your first the real release, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I think of it as the debut, but I guess it's technically an EP. But yeah, I always think of this as like our first record. But seems like people mostly refer to Phantom Nights as our first record, which is understandable because it technically is. And Forever Ripping Fast always has these like bonus tracks from the demos. So some people are confused if it's like a compilation or whatever it is, but whatever, if it's the first one or not, I would say it's the first proper release, like for sure. Yeah.
And it also came out, Hell's Headbangers put out a version, and so did Metal Command Records, right, out of Argentina, which had a Sabat cover on there. And Hell's Headbangers, they were following you guys since the demos.
Yeah, we were. They told us when they got in contact. I think that was for the Onward to the Pits album. So a few years later, but they told us they've been following us since the early days, or it was still the early days really, but since the demo days, and they wanted to release our shit. So, and we were only on Witch's Brew at the time, which was a cool label, really good to their bands and stuff. But she only released CDs, and we wanted to release stuff on vinyl, so we switched to Hell's Headbangers.
Yeah, they had Witch's Brew, they had Toxic Holocaust on there, didn't they? And then Salter and stuff.
Yeah, and Sauron, which we were always very big fans of Sauron from Michigan. That's that sick EP they had, Thrash Assault.
In the early days, like 2006, 2007, 2008 period, what are some of the bands you guys are playing with? Like, you know, is it we're all in local bands. You kind of have that brotherhood, say. You got a couple bands that you always jam with and stuff. Did you guys have that?
Yeah, it was definitely with the Necromantheon and Obliteration guys, like in the Cold Bottom bunch. Because we were starting out at around the same time, and we were doing old school metal, and so we started hanging out, and we were in the same circles and been helping each other out with recordings, and yeah, we've been having the same rehearsal room, and we've always been, we've been friends since the beginning. So they were definitely that band for our part, but then. Later, also Condor came along. Those guys were really fucking good, I think, and really cool guys too.
What are some of the venues you guys are playing locally at that time period?
And in the beginning, we played a lot at a place called Betong, but now there's not so much going on there anymore. And we used to play a lot at Blitz, like a punk place, but now we play mostly we've been playing a few times at a place called Café Härverk, which means like, what's the word for Härverk again? When you destroy public property and shit, what's that called? What's the word?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And yeah, whatever. And we played it all around. In Oslo, we played everywhere, really. It's like, it's not one particular spot, but some place more than others, I guess. But this place we're playing at, we have a release show at the end of the month. That's at Café Härverk, which is used to be like an occupied building, but yeah, cool spot.
You guys, 2009, you guys also played the Inferno Metal Fest, right, in Oslo?
Yeah, I don't remember which year it was, but that's probably correct. It was 1 year. We played there 1 year.
Is that your first festival appearance?
Which year was it, you said?
2009.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it was the first festival appearance. I remember we played at Til Dovre Faller, and we played probably at some smaller stuff, but that was definitely our biggest show till then. Like, we hadn't played anything that big until then. I didn't really even really realize how much, because we played quite early, and I was just like came there a bit hungover and just like starting to repair and getting raging, and then got on stage and like, oh fuck, this is huge actually. That's cool.
In 2009, you guys put out 2 compilations, The Rotting Demos, which came out in Infernal Overkill Productions out of Chile, which had 11 tracks, old demos. And you guys also put out the First Blood comp on Witchhammer Productions out of Thailand, which had 13 tracks. But that Rotting Demos, whose idea was that cover with it was like a girl in leather outfit? Because you guys' covers are always a little different, the album covers.
Yeah, that was actually that cover. We didn't have anything to do with that. That was something that Chilean guy put together, and we were like, all right, fucking cool. Like, that's that. I think, yeah, it's Ilona, the chick from the porno chick from the Bulldozer song. She's like a legendary 80s porn star, but that was like, we didn't really have any, I hadn't watched any Ilona at the time, or whatever. It's just that Chilean maniac put that on, and we thought like, all right, it looks cool, I guess. No big deal.
And then the band's debut, Phantom Nights, comes out on Witch's Brew in 2010, 9 tracks. Is this the first record you guys do where you're both out of school?
Yeah, that would be right, yeah. I actually lost my first job recording that record because I was down at his place too long. I was just gonna go there for the weekend and record for the album, but then I stayed longer to perfect it, and then didn't show up to work and I lost. But that was a really shit laundromat, so it was good riddance.
And did you record that you guys self? I think, did you guys record that on an old portable tape recorder?
No, not a tape recorder, but it's a digital recorder, but it's like a very old digital recorder, you could say. So it's like from the early days of digital recorders. So it's it feels like it feels almost like it's not, but it's digital, but it sounds really cool. But we used that for pretty much every recording we've ever done until the last one that came now. Because we had to, he had to go into retirement, that recorder, because it was like getting a little bit unreliable, like freezing and doing the stupid shit. So we had to retire it, unfortunately. But still, the new one sounds good anyway.
And you guys always, pretty much, the recording studio is basically Sato's basement.
Yeah, for the first few records, it was the basement. But we were young then, so it was like it was his room at his parents' house, really. But he just lived in the basement of his parents' house, and that's where we rehearsed and recorded and did everything. And then a few years later, he moved up to Oslo. I moved to Oslo as well. But we still didn't really rehearse, even though now we were in the same city. But then now we didn't have a place, like a proper place to rehearse in the beginning. But it got sorted after a while. But we didn't really start rehearsing regularly until maybe
until the second to last record, right? So when you guys started actually having
so only
rehearsals?
Like 5-6 years ago, we started like doing semi-regularly, and it's kind of strange, I guess, since we've been together 20 years.
I'm going to play a track off of Phantom Nights here in a second. The album art was done by Seth Bennett, who's done work for Ares Kingdom and Graveworm and Sacrificial Blood.
Yeah, he only did that one thing for us, but it turned out really cool. People always reference Bestial Devastation, which I can see, kind of looks like. But also it gives me vibes from early Death Row, and then just looks very thrashy in general. Thrash, like the genre.
I'm going to play Devilish Dirge from that record. Anything you can tell us about that track?
Yeah, that's like pretty much total battery worship. And yeah, that's what I can say about that track.
Yeah, we're going to play. This is Deathhammer with Devilish Dirge from Phantom Nights that came out in 2010. And we'll be back with Sergeant Salsten after this track from Deathhammer.
the one who only burns from gas. The only one I am not condemned. We're only to believe as we said. So now we'll wait for the end and beyond my coming. Never show the way after the immense longing. Even just my mind, torment my flesh. As I do enter the kingdom of death. In this twisted reality. See the back like a abyss. At the threshold of obscurity. The blackness my presence with. Devilish Dirge. Come on!
When do you start realizing that you guys are getting attention outside of Norway, like from the States or Europe in general? Like, when do you start realizing the band has reached other ears that you didn't expect to ever? Because you guys, when you start the band, you're not looking for the fame.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint a specific year or anything, but we had support from abroad since very early. Like we were like the house band at the Live Evil festivals. We got like a lot of support from England in the beginning, and I think the first time we played abroad was probably in Germany. It's because we always got good response there as well. I mean, they're a thrashing country, but also from the States. I don't know exactly which year or whatever. We got like, I suppose we definitely got a boost from being
2014 is the first time you guys visit the States.
Yeah, that was it 14? Okay, I thought it was 13 maybe. It was 14 maybe. Okay. Yeah, that was it. That was a really sick trip. We went 14 days in a row. Really good.
Yeah, and you guys you mentioned that London, you guys are playing the Live Evil, like you mentioned. And we also mentioned the Hell's Headbangers Forever Ripping Fast comp that you guys do. On 12-inch, you're a vinyl guy, right? That's out of all the formats, that's the format you prefer?
Yeah, definitely. I have a room full of records, which is like the Fortress of Solitude.
Deathhammer puts out a split 7-inch with Korgel the Exterminator out of Spain. After that, then you guys also put out a split with Nosferatu out of Brazil. And then 2012, the band puts out the Onward to the Pits record on Hell's Headbangers in 2012 on CD, vinyl, and cassette. And the title, Onward to the Pits, has nothing to do with a mosh pit. Am I correct?
Yes, I don't think it has anything to do with the mosh pit. It's Kato's title, but I kind of like the idea of it being double meaning too, like that it can be that
hell.
as well. But because it's not supposed to be the mosh pit. It's a hell, obviously. Like in the cover, you can see at the cover when it's in the pits. So it's the pits of hell. But I like that. Like there's several pits. There's armpits as well.
Exactly. Or the pits.
Yeah.
You know. And you guys have some guests on that record too. You guys have drummer Christian, who also played with Black Magic, who obviously Sado plays with them. I know you've done live bass for them, I believe, with Black Magic.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen from Faust Coven is on there. obviously Bal Ripper, who I know does live gigs with you guys, also from Lobotomized and Brain Shock, and you guys also had Alred from Aberration, which we talked about earlier, on the record too, and then also John from Black Magic also played on there.
Yeah, on Over to the Pits.
On that record, yeah.
Yeah. There was, now that you mention it, there was quite a few guests on there, right? Yeah, you're right. They were all doing guest solos and stuff.
When that gets printed too, man, isn't there so the track listing was fucked up on those, right? On the first and second press of that?
Yeah, that's totally correct. Can't believe they fucked it up on the second press as well. But was not, I mean, the order was correct, but one of the songs were on the wrong side. But at least the actual order of the songs, or is it two songs that are switched up? Maybe, yeah, something like that. It's a minor thing, but it's kind of stupid that it was also on the second press. It's kind of lazy, but I think now it's corrected.
And at this point, 2010 until 2016, you got Christian Holm from Incinerator playing. He was handling the live drums for the band.
Yeah, he was in Incinerator for a while, but his main band's Necromantian. He's really good drummer. He was with us for many years, but I don't see him around so much anymore. He's kind of living the quiet life, but never whipping out in it. But I don't see him so much.
You guys also used Oyvind, right, from Aberration, Purple Hill Witch at one time. And I think now you have Wilson from Evoke and Nuclear Genocide doing the drums for you guys.
Yeah, now it's Wilson. Yeah, he's been there for a few years now, so he's getting now he's properly playing really good for a style for our band. It really fits into the picture.
You also had 2018 to 2022. You had Kato from Evoke, also and Nuclear Genocide playing guitars live.
Yeah, that's true. It was a little period of time when Bal Ripper was not doing the guitars for reasons that I don't know. But then we had Louis there doing the guitar, but then Bal Ripper came back. Or Louis or Kato, I think his name is also Kato. I just call him Louis because too many Katos.
2012, you guys play in Asia with Desecration, Onslaught, at the True Metal Invasion in Singapore. How was that experience, man, getting over there?
That was really cool. That was my first time in Asia, or I guess my first time in, or my only time in proper Asia, or real Asia. I haven't been much to Asia, really, but that was a really cool experience. Very different place. We were there for a week or something, so we got to look around, do cool stuff. That was a cool, interesting place, Singapore. Also cool maniacs there.
Hot as shit, though, wasn't it, when you were there?
Oh, yeah. It was really fucking humid, hot, crazy. We were not used to that. But we did it right. I've had worse.
And then 2013, you guys do the Necro Thrash 4-way split on Demon Head Productions. And then you guys do, like we mentioned, 2014 North American tour, New York, Maryland, Tennessee, Chicago, Texas, New Orleans, Georgia. First of all, what was your favorite city to visit? And how was the experience in general, man? Your first thoughts of when you got in the States?
Yeah, it was the same thing that every European feels when it comes for the first time. It's that, whoa, everything's so huge. Everything is big. Whoa, big car. Whoa, big building. Whoa, big dude. Whoa, everything is whoa,
big food.
Yeah, big food. Everything is big. So that was, I guess, the first thing I noticed. But then, yeah, everywhere is different, but it's a really cool place to visit. I really like it because, especially in New York and in LA, everything is because it feels like I'm in the movie or something, because I watched it at the movies like all through my life, so it feels like it's like not a real place. So when I'm there, it always feels like, where's the camera or whatever. It's a weird feeling. But the rest of the country is fucking great too. I love going there. I think that my favorite place to visit, maybe Austin, Texas, was a really cool place. Really a lot in the city with a lot of life and music everywhere, and I was also swimming with like turtles in some hot springs side of town, and that's like a really cool place.
In Texas too, you guys had what? Did Bow Ripper had his guitar stolen there?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we didn't really get to the bottom of if it fell out of the car when we were driving, or if somebody nicked it when we were loading out our stuff. But somehow his guitar disappeared, and he just bought it like 2 days before or something.
Oh shit!
So we actually bought it in New York, I think, yeah, something. He bought it in the States, like for the tour, and then lost it. Like it was kind of lame, but yeah.
Was that the Texas show too? I heard that you guys were playing, and there was some woman running around the crowd with some gigantic army knife.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot about that. That sounds, yeah. Where was that? Fuck,
That
you
was
did your own.
Texas, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we played like in Dallas and Houston and Austin. So I don't remember, but that sounds like something. Yeah, that did happen, but I can't remember the details. It's a lot of
And
crazy shit.
then,
In fact, yeah, it's crazy with shit like that. When we played in LA, somebody got stabbed.
yeah, you had to move venues.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit.
Was that this tour, or was that it, like later on down the road that stabbing?
And that was a few years later, and when we did the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I think that first tour was one of the coolest things we ever did, because we just played every day for 2 weeks and just like went full on, like just slept in the car and just went from place to place. It was really hardcore, but it was fun as fuck.
In 2015, you guys did the Evil Power record, again in your home studio or the basement. We actually opened the show with Total Metal tonight. That came out on Hell's Headbangers, and that artwork was done by Edward Johnson.
Yeah, he's a Colombian guy living in Montreal, Canada. It's like primarily a tattoo artist, but he does covers as well. I think he got in touch with us actually because he was a fan of the band and said that he'll do something if we wanted it. And I already knew his art from because he did the Witch Trap, No Anesthesia one, which I thought was really cool. And then we decided to ask him if he could do something, and he came up with the Onward to the Pits one, which I think still is like maybe our coolest cover ever. Like, so we were like really amazed by this cover, and we're like, all right. And then he sort of like, he made a couple more covers, and he sort of gave our mascot face, like he gave him a proper look. It was cool. But still, I feel like now we've used him for 3 records and shirts and everything, so we don't have to get locked into only using him either. But he's done some of our best shit for sure. Really like his style.
And you guys, 2015, you also played Hell's Head Bash that year in Ohio.
Yeah, that was really cool. And some cool bands playing there too. Met really cool people. Yeah, it was great.
2016, you again play Los Angeles, San Diego. 2017, you did Extreme Metal Attack in Portugal. You guys did Lead Us to Hell Fest in France. And then, but I do got to mention 2015, you start up a speed metal band, Torpedo. How do you get involved with that?
Yeah, that was because I moved to Tasmania in Australia, which is really fucking far away from Norway. It's pretty much as far as you can get without going back. Because I was with this girl and it was from there.
I knew it had to be a girl, man. You know, when I was going to ask you about that when you moved there, because I know you did move there for the, and I was going to say it has to be like a girl. That's why we usually move to these places. As I'm in Lithuania right now, this is how it happens.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, she lived with me in Oslo for a couple of years, and then I moved down there for a couple of years. And at the time, like, I didn't know if I was 100% involved with this girl, so for all I knew, I wasn't coming back or whatever, so I have no idea. So it's kind of getting rid of heaps of shit and starting from scratch was kind of cool, actually. But then, so then I didn't live in Norway again for the next couple of years, so then I started a band there with Will Spector, the guy from Heavy Chains Records, and lots of cool bands. And Kato, our Saddlemonster, started his own band here, Two Black Viper. It's kind of fun that we were both like, oh, okay, yeah, now that we're going on the different ways, we can try some shit that we always wanted to do, like experiment or whatever. And then we were like, yeah, and then we both started like a speed metal band. We both had the kind of the same idea. We worked in the same way, but yeah, mine was more like Mausoleum record style, and his was more like US metal, I guess. But it was kind of fun because Will had never played drums before, and somebody had to play the drums, and I was like, I can't play drums. I really suck at drums, I said. And then he was like, okay, so I'll play drums then. But he'd never played drums, but he's just a natural. So the drums were at the rehearsal place, so we went there. It was just at some guy's house, really. We went there once a week for a little time period, and that's the only time we actually played drums, for like those couple of hours when he was jamming with me. And after like a month or two, then we recorded the demo, and so that's like he only played drums at those sessions with me, and then he plays so well and thick on the demo, considering he's never played drums.
That was the demo, that 4-song demo that came out on Heavy Chains Records?
Yeah, we did 2 demos there.
I'm going to play a track from that. I'm going to play the Heavy Rocker track off of the Flaming Steel Attack from 2017. And anything you could tell us about that track?
Yeah, that's like the fastest song we did, I guess. It's a total, pretty much most of the songs, all the songs from Torpedo are about just like rocking street kind of lyrics, like heavy metal core themes. So this song is just about being a metalhead.
Did you guys do any shows with Torpedo?
No, we didn't really have time to set anything like that up. It's because it was again just duo thing, dynamic, like so the same kind of dynamic like with Deathhammer, but we were only in our kind of sort of baby steps, and then I moved back after a couple of years. And in Tasmania, it's not as easy to set up something like that, even though there's some really cool people there, for sure.
Well, I'm going to play Heavy Rocker off the Torpedo record from 2017, or the Torpedo demo, I should say, Flaming Steel Attack. We'll be back with Sergeant Salsten after this track from Torpedo.
Steel.
And that was Torpedo with Heavy Rocker. 2019, Torpedo puts out the Rocking Hard compilation on Dying Victims Productions, and then that's pretty much it, right? You with the band, you guys, that it's pretty much a dead deal now.
Yeah, we never really split up, but we live on the complete different part of the world, so we're not gonna do like one of those internet sort of bands. That's not that was not our style at all. So maybe one day if our paths cross, I mean, you never know. But it's on a very thick or thin ice. I don't know what it's on. But yeah, it's on some very it's very
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, definitely some ice there, like some proper ice.
Back to Deathhammer, 2018, the band releases the 2018 album Chained to Hell, which I know this record was a 2018 release, but this was actually recorded in 2015.
Chained to Hell, yeah. We recorded it kind of like swish swoosh because that was right before I was moving to Australia. I knew I was going to go be away, and we didn't know if I was going to be away moving there permanently, or at the time we didn't know. So we were like, oh, fuck, we got to do one more record before I go. And then we recorded that like January 2015. And then I left for Australia in February. So that was, but then Evil Power came out. And then we just did like mixing and artwork, and like the artwork took a really long time. There's always like some behind the scenes kind of thing, or like not just like the recordings necessarily that takes time, but just all the other little things. Like it could be anything like from the artwork to mastering or mixing or waiting for a pressing plant, or there's many things. So but it was okay because Evil Power came out anyway, and so we couldn't really release, we didn't want to release Chained to Hell at the same time anyway, so came out like kind of with a nice even time period.
And on Chained to Hell, Sadomancer did all the guitars on that except for Rabid Maniac Force and Satan's Hell?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe. I don't remember, but that could be right. If that is my songs, maybe I don't really remember. Yeah, but that could be right. Yeah.
And then that same year, 2018, you guys played California, Mexico, you guys Central America. We mentioned the Los Angeles show, but you guys played El Salvador. How was that experience? Because I heard some of you guys went sick, and then you guys had issues getting back over the border and stuff. How was the El Salvador incident?
Yeah, that was
or experience, I should say.
Yeah, that was really crazy. We were going from Guatemala getting over the border to El Salvador. And we had like this huge van with lots of instruments and lots of merch. And it was like obviously a band, and we were like, we looked nothing like the other people there. We were like obviously like some white guys from like far away, and like we totally looked like obvious like a band. But they were, when we didn't have like the visa to actually play there. So I was like, I don't know I was like, are you sure we're gonna get in with this? Like we're obviously a band and shit. And they were like, oh, no problem. They were like really casual about it. But when we got to the border, they did, of course, suspect us of being a band. But then they said we were surfers, we said. And luckily, Bowel Ripper was really, really sick. Also, Øyvind was really, really sick from something in Guatemala. But Bowel Ripper was so sick that he'd actually gone to the doctor on the way. So he had like some papers saying that he was sick, and he got a shot. And so we showed that.
Note.
Yeah, so we showed that to the border people, and like, look, our friend is actually really sick. We just got to take him to get some rest, and we're just some surfers and shit. And I don't think they believe us, but somehow they let us in. And when we were at the place playing there, Even on drums, he was also really, really fucking sick. So he just like sat on a stack of towels when he was playing the drums, just in case, so he could like shit, like in case.
It's great, but awful.
Yeah. But like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But then apparently, it was really brutal kind of place too. I think the like the security guard outside had something that looked like an AK or some shit. Like he had like a machine gun. So it's like, okay, that's a really nice place. Like, and but the thing is, there was two promoters apparently in El Salvador. That's what I heard, and they both sabotage each other, or they hate each other. So like they try to fuck up for the other one. And they both have like their minions, like one guy is on the one guy's side or whatever. So they have this unnecessary like rivalry going with the promoters. And since we didn't have a visa to play there, it was like a secret show, or not really a secret show, maybe, but it wasn't allowed to take pictures. But some guy that was like on the side of the other promoter, he took some sneak pictures of us playing, and he fucking sent it to the border.
What an asshole!
So when we came to the border the other day, and the next day we were trying to get to Mexico. Then of course they were like, "Hey, what's this?" And they showed us the picture, and we were like, "What are we gonna say? Like, busted, you know?" Because that fucking piece of shit ratted us out. So then we were on the border there for a fucking long time, until we ended up having to bribe them heaps of money to get over the border. So we just to give them lots of money in the end.
Corrupt.
And then but then we were late, so then we didn't make it to the show, I think.
Didn't you miss your flights or some shit?
Yeah, because of that shit. And then everyone was like, I was seeing on the internet, like, people like, "Oh, these fucking guys think they're rock stars," and shit. People were mad because they didn't. I mean, it's like, but dude, we just got held up by the fucking, or like, there's nothing we could do. And then we played like a bonus show the next day, and then the next town we played like a free show to compensate, because that was the nearest. That was the best thing we could organize in one day, you know.
Goddamn.
Still, people are still pissed off, but I mean, like, shit like that happens. It's out of our control. You know?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean,
yeah.
Well, that probably answers like, what is your favorite country to visit, and what's your least favorite? I'm thinking Ecuador kind of ranks up there with your least, maybe.
Ecuador? You mean El Salvador?
El Salvador. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, the people there were like really, really fucking cool, and they were like so appreciative of us coming, because I guess there's like I don't know if there's so much stuff going on there, so like you could tell people were like really, they were like just really nice, and they gave me like gifts and cool shit. People were just like really, really friendly, so that was cool. But I didn't get to stay there so much because we had to go pretty soon. But me and Solomons partied there a bit, because we were the only guys that weren't sick out of our brains. So it was alright. It was a nice experience. It was just border shit, you know. But that was also an experience in itself. It's just unfortunate about missing the flight. But you know, that's this is Spinal Tap, you know.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite city to visit, or favorite country, I should say?
I don't know. Favorite country to visit? You mean like personally, or like with the band?
Personally. You know, obviously with the band, but you know, in general.
I always like to go to Germany, because that's the perfect place to go for like a metalhead. You go there, and there's like all these killer festivals, and there's all the fucking best beers, and there's great bands, and I love fucking going to Germany. And just in general, Germany is great. But with the band, I don't know. Then I kind of enjoy going to Central or South America, actually, because the audience there is great. There's like fucking very energetic, not crazy maniacs.
Yeah, we just were talking to Eric from Goat Seaman the other night, had him on here, and we were talking about the crowds there on how South America is just insane. I'm gonna play Satan's Hell off of the Chained to Hell record. Anything you could tell us about this track?
Satan's Hell, yeah. That was the title came from an old band I had with that only lasted a little while. I guess it was like a precursor to Torpedo. It was called Satan's Hell. That was like a little thing I had going already before I moved down under, but it didn't really become anything. But took the name, passed it on, and made this song. The song is just it's just a classic kind of style of song that I would make, I suppose. Just fucking black metal stuff. I don't know. It's just fucking ripping.
There you go. We're gonna play it now, man. This is Deathhammer with Satan's Hell from Chained to Hell that came out on Hell's Headbangers 2018, and we'll be back with Sergeant Salsten after this track from Deathhammer.
Just my evil, you escape me now. I say with the dark, you make me and let out yourself. I'm a warrior, possessed by the black. Body that is dead, but blood, but devils attack. Evil's rebirth, the devil's control. Seventeen right evil swell. Inside the soul, my own professional agony. Push up, burn back the pain. Several Christ, desecration. Now they sing with make it smell. Inside the soul. The fight, all know you got some things to see. Just make out the man. Take the soul. Outbreak of mayhem, insane was stalking the night. Leading the holy, exploring with eternal light. To destroy with malevolent wrath. With force of death, in blackness wrath. Evil's rebirth, devastation. Savaging where evil swell. Inside the soul. Let the fire perpetual agony. With them torn back in pain. Sever the rights, desecration. Ravaging with wicked smell. Inside the soul. The fight. All the battles destined this wicked command. Take the time.
That was Deathhammer with Satan's Hell. 2020, you put out a split with Sabat out of Japan, Army of Death on Empire Records out of Belgium. It's live recordings, right, from a show you guys did in 2012 on November 7th?
Yeah, so it's like pretty. The recordings are from a long time ago. It's when we played with Sabat in Oslo, yeah. And but we were planning to do the live album for many years, but it didn't really materialize. And then they just like we sort of forgot about it for a while, but it was still going to be done. But we were going to do it with a Norwegian label, and because we didn't come to terms, we weren't on the didn't agree on anything with the Belgian guy, so we decided to go with the Norwegian label instead. And we were slowly making that happen, and then suddenly I got an email from a Belgian guy like, "Oh, the record is in the pressing and it's almost out and shit." And I was like, "What the fuck? We declined your shit. We weren't going to release it with you." And he was like pretending to be all like, "What are you talking about?" And being a dick about it. And then we got on really bad terms, and he didn't really want to cooperate with him after that. So it's not, and but then he didn't want to send us the good quality files for the songs either, because we were lacking. We only had like MP3s and shit. And then he was like telling us that he lost them, and because we got on bad terms. But he just did. It was like pretty much a bootleg, really, even though if it's not, because that's the cover we were gonna use and shit. But he like made his own title for it, and he did everything. And like we were gonna have like we had a totally different idea of how it's gonna look. He just like did it without asking us. He obviously did it like as a crook move. Otherwise, he would have at least sent us email. What do you think about this design and shit like that? He just like said like, "Oh, it's in the pressing," and pretended to be like, "Oh, we had a deal or whatever." It was it's total scumbag shit. But in the end, it turned out cool anyway. So I'm kind of
So
over
you guys
that.
didn't have, I know the artwork was done by Mario Lopez, a Guatemalan artist, but did you guys have any say? So you guys chose the artwork for that, or this guy just chose it?
In the beginning, when we were dealing with this guy and we were supposed to do it with him, then we landed on this artwork, and so that was already in the plans. But then when we weren't satisfied with the deal he was going to do, then we said, "No, we're going to use a different label instead." And then we didn't talk to him for years, and then he just used the artwork that we presented, the artwork that was in plan that we were planning to use all along. But that's as far as we came in the process with him, was the artwork, and then he just did all the other shit himself in silence without telling us.
Sucks. Yeah.
But in the end, like, I think it turned out cool anyway. So I'm glad that we have a fucking split with Sabbath, because Sabbath is fucking god.
Band,
So
yeah.
that's just an honor to play with them and have a split with them and fucking worship that band. I actually saw them 12 times last summer.
Damn.
I
Who
followed
is that for the bands you've played with? Like, where's the highlight? Like, is there that, that one band where you're like, holy shit, like, I can't believe I'm actually playing with these guys. I mean, have you had that experience yet?
Yeah. I mean, sure. There's always like bands that I play with, and like when we played with Raw Power, I was for some reason, like we hadn't played for a while or something, so the organizers at the Blitz house, they said that we had to be the headliner. But then I was like kind of apologizing to Raw Power, like what the fuck, these guys, they don't know who these legends are. Like and then I was like, I was kind of feeling almost embarrassed that, like, who are we to fucking play after Raw Power or whatever, because these guys are gods. But still, there's some like even if it was like at a festival where we were headlining together with I don't know if you headline or whatever, playing with Autopsy at in Portugal. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, great
Because
band.
they're total gods.
And definitely, we had Ryford on here when we probably about 2 years ago, right, Ed? And Chris is awesome, man. We've dealt with him for years and years. I've put out splits for Eat My Fuck back in the day, his other bands and stuff. And Chris is awesome. 2021, you also joined the band Impunger, which I know that Val Ripper's in that band. How do you get involved with that?
Yeah, so that's kind of his brainchild, at least in the beginning. So he asked me to join on bass because they didn't really have a proper bass player. They only had like a session bass player on the demo. So on the demo, I was already there doing some guest screams and shit. But I wanted to join because I thought the band was fucking great, and now I've been in there for a few years, and I make some tunes too. So now we have an album we're trying to put together. We just have a couple of songs left to make.
You mentioned Autopsy earlier. You did Autopsy cover, you guys, for Acts of Unspeakable.
On that demo, I only did like backup, like I did like some screams here and there, and I did all those retarded screams on the outro. So I was like not really in the band properly at the time. I joined.
You've done shows with them, right? You guys did shows, what, Norway and Sweden? Have you guys done much more live?
No, we haven't played that much more. We only played in Norway and Sweden. But now we're gonna play in Germany this October. So that's gonna be cool.
In 2022, Deathhammer puts out Electric Warfare, again on Hell's Headbangers, 8 tracks. And like you said, this is the first time you guys are actually rehearsing together regularly. And cover art done again by Edward Johnson. You recorded this in 2016 at first when you visited back when you were living over in Australia, but you guys threw away most of those tracks from that recording and redid it again?
Yeah. That's how it went. Yeah, because I came back to Oslo in the summer of 2016, but only like on holidays because I was still living in Australia. But then me and Sonamaster met up and had a couple of rehearsals, and the songs came together really fast as usual. And we figured, what the fuck? Well, let's just record them, and then we did. And they turned out pretty good, but they didn't. They could have been better. So it was like, because it was just like in a haste, sort of, when I was just visiting. So we decided to do them over, and I think that was a good idea, because then the songs got to evolve a little bit.
And on the final version too, you guys did the Thrown to the Abyss. The first time you guys ever played that together was actually what you hear on that record?
Yeah, that is fucking crazy, but that's how it went. Yeah, because we had all the other songs for the record rehearsed. We'd had them rehearsed for a while. Some of the songs were rehearsed for a long while, but we only had one song left to make, so to have enough songs to make a proper record. And then Kato Sadamanser made that song, put it together like when we were still recording as we were recording the album. So when the album was, we had almost recorded all the songs. Then he presented me with the riffs for the song, and we were like, okay, cool, we have to rehearse it a bit, I guess. But since we already had all the mics set up and shit, he was like, he just pressed record anyway. It's like, you never know, maybe it turns out cool from the first go. And he just showed me like 14 riffs or whatever it was, and it was like, okay, let's see if I can remember it. We just pressed record, and it just turned out perfect. And then that's the only time we've ever played it. We just played it that one time.
That's awesome.
It's kind of magic, really.
That's awesome. And you guys also did a video on that for that too for Rapid Violence. Are you a fan of making videos? That's the one where you guys you had the axe running around. And it's like in the woods and stuff. I know
Yeah.
you have a video coming out actually today, another video. But how was that video shoot for Rapid Violence? And was that something you were into doing?
Yeah, that was really fun actually. Was nothing. It's not something I've considered really doing before, but it was when COVID came and you couldn't really play shows, you couldn't do anything. So we kind of wanted to do something with the band, but we couldn't play in shows. So we was like, hey, why don't we make a video? That'd be kind of cool. And then we did, and then we got kind of creative with it, and we got to do like some splatter effects that I always wanted to try out, like ever since watching all these gore films since forever. So yeah, we got to play with experiment with like blood and guts, and I think it turned out actually really good. And that's what we're doing again for the video that's coming out today. But this one is
Satan's Sword is what comes out today.
Yeah, this one is even a little bit grittier, I think. This also got some blood and guts and inverted crucifixions.
Yeah, let's talk about, the new record now. So this brings us to the new one, Crimson Dawn. It's out on Hell's Headbangers, August 29th.
I think it's more in your face than the last one. Electric Warfare was really happy with it, but it turned out a little bit different than most of our other records. This one is a little bit more back to the style of maybe Evil Power or something like that. It's but it's dynamic because it's got 50-50 me and Salamaster. We made half the songs each, and we both play guitar on all the songs, and it feels really knit together. It sounds more alive than since we both play guitar on all the songs. I think it sounds really put together, and it's more in your face, but it's also got like a little bit of everything styles to it. It's a classic Deathhammer thing.
The cover, man, I thought was cool because it's something you guys haven't done before. You got that old school cover. You can tell us about that. With the torches out in the snow.
Yeah. It was like we were discussing what we were supposed to have for the cover art, and we couldn't really agree on the artist to use because we were of different opinions there, and then we sort of like made a good compromise. Like, hey, we always thought like badass fucking metal albums with band photos are like the coolest shit around, like Sentence of Death and Inri and this kind of stuff. And like nothing is cooler than that. And if you just have like a really badass band photo like Destructor and like bands like that. So it's like, all right, let's just do that.
And the sarcophago covers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what we wanted to do, but it was really cold and wintry, so it ends up like a little bit like Immortal anyway. But it was like mostly inspired by we just wanted to make just a hard fucking band photo like Sentence of Death, this kind of shit.
What do you guys have coming up? So
live now, there's like lots of shows now, and I'm playing every weekend now in September. Or first now there's a release show at the end of the month here in Oslo, and then we're gonna play also in Norway. It's a place called Porsgrunn, and then we're going to Switzerland the weekend after that, and then I'm playing with Impunger the weekend after that with like some new constellation playing Old Funeral with those old guys. That's gonna be cool. And weekend after that we're playing Trondheim with Deathhammer. So, but it's all except for one in Switzerland. It's all inside here. We're not going that far. but we're going to Germany to play. I'm going there with Impunger and Deathhammer this autumn.
Yeah, man. And we actually have had a few. We had we had Heimland on here. We've had Knife on here. Is there any Norwegian band you'd recommend for the listeners who they may not know about?
Yeah, like Guitarist, like I said before, it's fucking great. But best heavy metal band from Norway maybe is Black Angels. It's a fucking great band. If people haven't heard it. And then check out the Norway Rocks compilation. It's fucking sick. There's many good bands from Norway.
Well, dude, man, we really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, man. I know you're going to a festival here in a few minutes. So first of all, I want to thank you for giving us your time.
No worries. It was fun.
You guys have the new record coming out August 29th on Hell's Headbangers. We're going to say goodbye to you in a minute, but we're going to play a track first. We're going to play Legacy of Pain off of that. Anything you want to say on your way out?
Fucking thrash till death. Let's fucking die.
There you go. And Sergeant Salsten, thanks for hanging out. Everybody else, this is Deathhammer with Legacy. Oh, wait, one more thing, man. Where can they go to find anything Deathhammer related? Merchandise? Is Hell's Headbangers the best place to go?
I suppose it is. I never bought it myself, so
can't guarantee the shipping or the.
I think it's Hell's Headbangers, yeah. Must be, yeah.
Cool, man. So yeah, thanks again. And like I said, we'll say goodbye to you in a second. Everybody else, this is Deathhammer with Legacy of Pain. That's coming out on Hell's Headbangers August 29th. We'll be back with me and Ed on the Tampa Morgue after this track. And that was Deathhammer, and we want to thank Sergeant Salsten for hanging out with us tonight. And yeah, dude, fucking killer band, man. A cool guy, dude. I really enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with AA, because, after, sitting around with him partying before he was going to a festival, dude was pounding them fucking beers, man, and I just realized that I need to call Alcoholics Anonymous, and I need to get into a meeting as quick as possible because I think I'm drunk from
Well, he
watching
was
it.
partying last night too, man. He didn't
Oh,
get home
yeah.
until the wee hours of the morning and still made the interview. So, I have
Well,
such
and
respect for
we
that.
usually don't tell the secrets, but this guy was so hyped that he messaged us last week while we were
Oh,
getting
yeah. Well,
like an hour before we were getting, somebody else on to,
he thought that was the
he
day he
thought
was
was
supposed
the
to come
date,
on.
man, and
Yeah.
he was like we were like, "Holy shit," we thought he was gonna pop on last week.
But
So,
that's awesome, though, that he was
yeah,
way
no,
early. Talk about early,
absolutely,
man. Yeah.
absolutely. No, he was a great interview, like I said, and, you know, I was thinking, "Alright, you're going to a festival and you're pounding." If I would, like, as soon as I did, I would the couch would be my best friend. There's no festival.
Oh,
That's
he
it,
can
dude.
hang, dude. Yeah.
Well, it was like, when we were talking with Disaster, and he was with,
Oh, him
um
and Odin were pounding the
out of
Guinness.
the Guinness, and I'm just like, and they were the tall boy Guinness. Those
Yeah.
were the like in the store here, like the $12 a can fucking Guinness.
I think
They
they
were
were
pound
nailing one between each question.
It sounded like it, didn't it? And so I'm just thinking, man, I don't know what happened in my life where I felt, I feel like a pussy. Like, cause it's like, hey, you want a beer? No, pussy. I just, but hey, if you can drink like that and still fucking go out there and do your thing, more power to you, man. That
Yeah.
was a great interview.
Yeah, Deathhammer's
He's
killer,
funny.
man.
He's got it.
Personality.
He's got a, like, you can tell when you talk to somebody if they're an asshole, you know? And he was very, like, laughing a lot, and just you could tell that he's fun to be around,
Yeah, he's someone
where
you'd like to tour with probably,
yeah, 'cause there's been some people that I've toured with that I was just like, "My god, can you be any more of a fucking brick?" Like, like no personality, just fucking, like, I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's when you're so stiff, I just, I try to be professional, but I wanna have a good time, man, because you only get to when you go on the road, like, especially me, I'm getting older, I may never go there again. When I was in Italy, we went and did some cool shit. When I was here and here, we go do some cool shit and had some fun because you never know. It could be the last time you see any of those places,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. No, Salston was great, and a great band, like I said, man, I like when you talk to these guys, it's cool, because we go back, obviously, the history goes back to, like, when they were kids, right? And it all starts out from you listen talking to Salston, he was into The Offspring growing up, you would never listen to Deathhammer, you probably wouldn't put that together, but I mean, we all start from somewhere, and all of our influences are for I know he was really into the old skate punk, which I was into that too, as you know, I still am into that, like, the Dwarves are one of my favorite bands, especially the old Dwarves records. The Descendants was a big thing for me. So it's cool with some of these guys when we get them on and you kind of peel back I don't know what you call it. You peel back the layer and you kind of find out the influences that you wouldn't expect sometimes. I think
sure.
that's and I think it's cool that they're so honest about what they were into and stuff like that, because we all start somewhere, and
We get a lot of
kudos.
people that admit to us about how they were fans of Cinderella
Yes,
and, all those old bands, and and to me, I'm like, if somebody was like, "Oh, you're a poser," I'd be like, "Man, fuck off, man." You know,
yeah, it's
you don't
fucking
even know what the fuck you're talking about, man. Those bands, they kinda like grunge, you know? Nirvana, I wasn't too happy with the Teen Spirits and the overplayed shit, but the deeper cuts on the record that you never heard, those songs were fucking great. And Alice in Chains, I don't think I've ever heard a
Facelift
bad
is a
out.
great record.
I
Yeah.
can't think of a bad on any record, a bad Alice in Chains song. Like, every song is written and just, I mean, Soundgarden too.
Actually, I
Chris
have an
Cornell.
Alice in Chains story, actually. So it's funny because we're bringing this up, because actually I was showing my wife what she could give a shit about last night. I was showing her Slayer from Madison Square Garden in '93 when I saw them. Because to me it was awesome. I was like, oh, it was, and actually the way the video was shot was kind of the area I was sitting in. So like for me, it was like one of the biggest thrills as a kid. Um, you know, I just thought it was awesome. But so Alice in Chains, when I was doing the Rivet Rag magazine with Jack Radinsky, which we've been talking again lately. Actually, I hadn't talked to him for years. We've been talking about the old magazine and stuff. And this was there was I want to say it was, I don't know what exact period of the magazine it was, but when Dimebag was murdered on stage, we went to NAMM that year. And then there was actually a kind of like a cocktail party, like a get together that was there. Um, it was for Vinnie Paul. So Vinnie Paul was holding this event, and we went to the event, me and Jack. I had definitely been smoking a little bit and drinking a little bit, and there was a point in that night where me and Jack were out pissing in the woods, and there's Jerry Cantrell pissing also right next to us, and it was
Wow.
just yeah, it's pretty wild, man. So I don't think I've ever told that story, and it's not the greatest story, but it's something I always think about when I hear Alice in Chains. I'm like, man, I was like, I remember that night. So there's a little pointless story for you that means nothing, but
And
that's a NAMM memory.
And the fact that they got booed on that tour, and look what happened.
Yes, they
They
did
blew
at
up.
Madison Square
They
Garden.
looked
They were getting
they
shit.
got booed in Lakeland too, and I remember
Yeah.
fucking Lane Staley saying, "What, you wanna suck my what, motherfucker?" Doing the whole, 'cause, don't fuck with a guy with it's kinda like when you heckle a comedian. What are you fucking with the guy with the microphone for? What are you doing?
Yeah.
That doesn't end well, especially a comedian, 'cause he's up there and he's gonna fucking absolutely dice you in front of all the people you're around, you know what I
Well,
mean?
we saw Alice in Chains at Public Enemy was on the bill too because it was Madison Square Garden, and they only did Bring the Noise with Anthrax that night. But, yeah, it was Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Public Enemy, and Alice in Chains, and like you said, Alice in Chains was getting shit thrown at them. Yeah, but I mean, wound up
6 months
fucking
later,
being huge.
they
Yeah,
fucking were just they were unstoppable.
that's how it
And
works.
but yeah,
And
great. I mean, but it's just one of those things that we grew up on Alice in Chains. We grew up on fucking hair metal. We grew up on fucking doom. I grew up on rap, old rap, like real rap. Like I can remember fucking playing LL
Ghetto
Cool J as
Ghetto
a fucking
Boys.
Ghetto Boys and NWA and fucking Too Short. Dude, you remember the story I told about my buddy? We were in the metal and we would drive around and get fucking wasted. And he was from Detroit, so he was a fucking nutball. Like he would drop and fight somebody in a second. Like he was one of those nutcases. And for Christmas, he's like, "Dude, I got you something cool." And I was like, "All right." And pulls out this ticket and it's for Two Live Crew. And I'm
I
like,
was about
"What
to
the
mention them. I said, "You remember when they were like the fucking
Dude," I'm
target
like,
of
"What
everybody?"
the fuck?" I'm like,
Censorship era.
"Why would you get me a Two Live Crew ticket? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not." But I was like, "You know what, dude?" He's like, "We're gonna have a great time." And dude, I will tell you, we went. It was at the Bayfront Center. We did have a great time until we left. And he was wearing his fucking denim jacket with Slayer and Metallica patches on the back, and some dude, fucking, a thug fucker, pushed him from behind into another dude. And of course, we were white. We were in the wrong place. And dude, we started a riot. Let me just tell you, it was on the news because I tried to step in front of the dude because he was fucking getting ready to punch my buddy. And I'm like, dude, relax. He got pushed. And all of a sudden, this fucking 300-pound fucking chick with her Gucci purse uppercutted me, bro, with the purse. She had a rock in there or something because that motherfucker hit me and I was seeing stars for a minute. And then all of a sudden my buddy got hit and then everybody was getting hit. And then it was on. But I'm thinking, Two Live Crew, not Eazy-E, where you would think that would happen, where, dude, I'm dancing on a fucking chair with some two chicks with big tits fucking grabbing me and fucking were, dude, I'm thinking,
There's an image for you.
what the fuck is going on? Having a good time. And then
They were the most perverted. I remember when I was a kid, like that was the first time like I had heard something like that. Like I had heard,
dude, chicks were literally, he was up there in town whip out.
Oh, Luke. What was his name? Luke?
Yeah, Luke fucking was, dude, chicks were pulling out their fucking tits and pulling their pants down. And I was just like, and it was the most, like I said, it was fucking something else in there because Too Short played too, and Slick Rick, and I was thinking, wow, this is fucking killer, man. All right, I got to see some cool old school rap, and then I get the shit kicked out of me afterwards.
Well, on that note,
yeah,
I think it's another
let's end this fucking stockpile.
Episode 104 in the books.
Yeah, wow.
Next, yeah, it goes
Creeping.
fast.
Remember
Next
when we
week-
were like, hey man, we're almost to 100.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, 104. Oh well.
Well, you think about it, we have Goat Seaman coming up, Eric from Goat Seaman, which will be 105, and then we got Daniel Avenger from Nocturnal, which will either be 106 or 107, because I think we're gonna have. I actually kind of know Bloody Mess is gonna come back and hang out with us, and Revik's probably gonna come hang out with us again too, trying to figure all that out. So before you know it, we'll be at 110, then 120.
Hey,
And,
Tony, we'll be at 200 soon.
yeah, I know. Wow, I never thought we'd even get to 100, to be honest with you. But
We did.
yes, we did. And anybody, who listens, we appreciate you. And I know we've been getting anybody who wants it. People have been contacting us about inquiring about ads. Me and Ed are trying to figure that out a little bit, how we would do that. But if you want to place an ad on the show, just get a hold of us and we'll
Well,
figure something out.
I can cut the ad for you
Yeah.
guys. I can be very creative and it will come out killer.
Ed's good for that. As long as you don't need someone to jump around on a leg right now, then Ed'll be good.
Yeah,
to
no
go.
tie kicks, no
Yeah.
push-up, no fucking squats. We're not doing any of that right now. I'm surprised I've been sitting this long, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, let's get you out of the seat. But everybody who listens, we appreciate you, Ed. Give them the spiel.
Yep, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everywhere, YouTube, audio only, sorry. The Tampa-Morgue at gmail.com for all correspondence. Follow us on Instagram. Tony's always updating that fucker 5-6 times a day.
Trying to keep on top of that shit.
We have Facebook, but whatever. It is what it is. It's just there floating in the netherworld.
Until it gets outdated like MySpace and
Exactly.
just disappears.
Exactly. That dude was smart selling that shit.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, and did you give him the email too?
I did.
Oh, there you go. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with Eric from Goat Seaman. Until then, peace.
See ya.
This is King Fally from Deceased, and you just listened to another episode of the Tampa Morgue. Tune in next week and stay fucking dead.